Anyone who believes in indefinite growth on a physically finite planet is either mad or an economist.
We don't want to focus politics on a notion that involves the rejection of principles around which a large majority of our fellow citizens organize their lives.
We are not as endlessly manipulable and as predictable as you would think.
We're just beginning to glimpse our future. A new economic system is entering onto the world stage. It's called the Collaborative Commons. This is the first new economic system to emerge since the advent of capitalism and socialism in the early 19th century. So it's a remarkable event. And the introduction of this new economic system, the Collaborative Commons, is going to dramatically impact all of our lives, the way we work, the way we play, the way we live, as we move further into the 21st century. The precipitating agent, the trigger, that's taking us from the capitalist system to the Collaborative Commons is something called zero marginal cost. Do not be frightened. I know this is a business term. Marginal cost is the cost of producing an additional unit of a good or service once your fixed costs are absorbed. Let me explain the impact of zero marginal cost. There's a paradox deeply embedded in the heart of the capitalist system, previously undisclosed. Not even Karl Marx got it. In a capitalist market, sellers are continually in search of new technologies that can increase productivity, reduce marginal costs, so they can put out cheaper products, win over consumers from their competitors, bring back some profit for their investors. So businesses have always wanted to reduce marginal costs. In an economic theory of capitalism, what's interesting is the economics theory says that the marginal cost is the optimal efficient state in which to price a good or service. It's just that economists never in their wildest imagination anticipated a technology revolution whose productivity was so extreme that it might bring those marginal costs to near zero, making goods and services essentially free, abundant, beyond profit in the exchange capitalist economy. That's what's beginning to happen. It's quite extraordinary. We saw the zero marginal cost phenomena sweep through the information goods industries over the last 15 years. Millions of people, then hundreds of millions of people, turned consumer to prosumer. And they began to produce their own music and share with each other, bypassing the recording industry. They began to produce and share their own videos on YouTube, bypassing the entertainment industry at near zero marginal cost and for free. And then millions of people began to create their own news blogs, bypassing the traditional media at near zero marginal cost, sharing it for free. And then, of course, the publishing industry. Millions of people are producing their own information and also free ebooks at near zero marginal cost. The recording industry tumbled in less than 5 years when young people began to share music with each other, bypassing the industry. Newspapers went out of business, magazines bellied up when young people began to move to their own blogs and share their own knowledge on Wikipedia. And the publishing industry has been racked by free ebooks at near zero marginal cost. So this zero marginal cost phenomenon has already invaded the entire information goods industry. We take it for granted, but it's changed the equation. We've now democratized communication. 40% of the human race is up there on the web. They have cheap cell phones and desktop computers. They only have to pay a service provider, and they're producing and sharing all sorts of entertainment and information goods at near zero marginal cost free on this Collaborative Commons already. Economists have said, well, okay, we understand that the information goods industry has been literally turned upside down by the zero marginal cost phenomenon, but we think there's a firewall here, and that the zero marginal cost phenomena will not breach the firewall and move from the virtual world of information goods to the physical brick and mortar world of energy and manufactured products. That's no longer the case. The wall has been breached. We are now moving from bits to atoms, and the change is being precipitated by a metamorphosis of the internet. The internet is now morphing into a super internet, an internet of things. So the conventional internet we're used to is beginning to converge with a fledgling energy internet and a nascent automated transport and logistics internet to create a super internet, bringing together the three things that every economy and society needs to manage itself. Every economy in history has to have a source of communication, a source of energy and power, and a source of logistics and mobility. So now we have the communication internet beginning to converge with an energy internet and an automated transport internet to create an internet of things. And this super internet, this operating platform, is like a brain. And now it's sending out the tentacles to create the nervous system. We have 14 billion sensors now connecting resource flows, monitoring what's going on in the environment. We have sensors connecting warehouses and distribution centers to see what's going on in those warehouses. We have sensors connecting smart roads and traffic patterns. We have sensors on the factory floor monitoring and feeding real-time data on what's going on in production. We have sensors on the new electricity grid that can tell us the price of electricity and which appliance is being used and which appliance is not being used. We have sensors in retail stores monitoring consumer traffic, who's buying and what are they buying. We have sensors connecting everything, every device, every contrivance with every human being in our natural environment. By 2020, IBM says 50 billion sensors. By 2030, the latest forecast, 100 trillion sensors, connecting the human world, the natural world, and all the things in it. Now, of course, your first reaction is this is exciting, and your second reaction is this is a little scary. It's exciting because we're creating a nervous system that can connect the human race, our fellow creatures, in one planet, so we can begin to think as a species. It's frightening because the question emerges, what about data security? What about privacy? What about cyber terrorism? I deal with all of this at length in the Zero Marginal Cost Society. If we can't address these issues, we will not be able to enjoy the benefits of the next stage of the human journey.